Hey, what's up everybody? This is me Ray from raynawaz.com and welcome back to this brand new After Effects tutorial. In this tutorial, we are gonna create a cinematic trailer title animation inside of After Effects without using any third-party plugin. If you are new to the channel, consider subscribing and also press the bell icon so you will get notified whenever I will post a new tutorial. And if you want to download the project file of this tutorial, so link is on our Patreon and you can download from there. And if you really enjoy our content on this channel and want to support us, please join our Patreon, link is in the description. And after joining our Patreon, you will have access to our all exclusive After Effects templates and all the previous and upcoming project files of YouTube tutorials. So without wasting any time, let's jump straight into After Effects and get started. Alright guys, here we are in After Effects and let's start by creating our first composition by clicking over here and rename it to render as our main render comp. Width and height is 2560x1440. You can also go with 1920 by 1080, 30 fps and 7 seconds long and hit OK. Again go over here and create a new composition and rename it to assemble. In this composition we will assemble our entire scene, properties same as our previous composition and hit OK. Now right click over here, new, and create a new solid layer and rename it to BG for background and hit OK. Now again go over here and create a new solid layer and rename it to text, properties same as our previous compositions and hit OK. Now go over here and take the type tool and type in the text that you want. I'm gonna type Cinemaitc. Select the selection tool and align it into the center and set the scale somewhere around to 50% and change the leading to 550 like so. Now align it into the center like this. Now again take the type tool and type in the text that you want. I'm gonna type trailer. For the size, let's set it to 250 and change the tracking amount to 0% and align it into the center like this. Now select both the text and go over here and turn on the title action save and place them into the center of the composition like so. Perfect. Now select this text, go into properties, text, and go to animate and add tracking. Make sure you are at the very beginning of your animation and change the tracking to somewhere around 40% and add a keyframe on tracking amount and go at 4 seconds and change it to 0% like this. Now select this animator 1, press Ctrl C on your keyboard to copy this effect and close the properties of the trailer text and select the cinematic text and go at the very beginning of your animation and press Ctrl V on your keyboard to paste that effect. Now select this cinematic layer and press U to reveal the keyframes. Select both the keyframes, right click, keyframe assistant, click on time reverse keyframes like this. And this is how our text animation will look like. Now go back to your assemble composition and go into this folder assets. You can download this entire project from our Patreon, link is in the description. And if you really enjoy our content on this channel, please support us on Patreon. That will help us to make more tutorials for you. Drag and drop this BG right over here and press S on your keyboard to reveal the scale properties and scale it up to somewhere around here. Now select this BG layer, double click right on this ellipse tool and that mask will be created. Now select this point and drag it right over here and select this point and drag that right here. Now zoom out a little bit by scrolling the scroll wheel on your mouse and select this point and drag it right over here and place this one right here. Now select this BG layer and press F key on your keyboard to reveal the feather property and increase the feather amount to somewhere around 400% like this. Now select this layer again and press T to reveal the opacity and set it to 15% like so, and go over here and set it to the canvas. Now select this BG layer and go into effect and preset window and search for fill effect and drag and drop this effect right here and change its color to somewhere around this black color, dark black, and hit OK. Now go to project window and drag and drop this text layer right here and close its properties. Now drag and drop this reflection map right here and go into effect and preset window and search for motion tile. Drag and drop this effect on this reflection map and change the output width to 200% and click on this mirror edges. Now make sure you are at the very beginning of your animation and add a keyframe on title center and go at the very end of your composition and drag it like so. Now select this reflection map, right click, pre-compose and rename it to reflection map and move all attributes and hit OK. Now make sure your reflection map is below your text and go into track matte option and change the track matte to text. If you are in the newer version of After Effects, so you can use this pick whip to do that. Alright, and this is how it will look. Now let's make it more dynamic and cinematic. Go into effect and preset window and search for CC glass effect. Drag and drop this effect on this reflection map layer and go into surface, change the bump map to text and set the softness to 13% and height to 17% and change the displacement 500% like so. Now again go into effect and preset window and search for CC globalize. Drag and drop this effect right here, or you can drag and drop on the reflection map as well. Go into blobbiness and change the blob layer to text and set the softness to 7% and set the cutaway to 4% like so. Perfect. Now go into a project window and here we have this particle layer. Drag and drop it below the reflection map and change its blending mode to add, and this is how it will look. Alright, and again go into project window and drag and drop this lens flare. Press the S key on your keyboard and scale it up to somewhere around here and change its blending mode to add like so. Now drag it down somewhere around here. Now right click over here, create a new solid layer and rename it to lens flare. Go into effect and preset window and search for lens flare. Drag and drop this effect on this layer and change the lens type to 105 mm and select this point and place it right over here and go at the very beginning of your animation and add a keyframe on flare center and go at 4 seconds and select this point and hold shift on your keyboard and drag it right over here. Perfect. Now go into effect and preset window and search for Gaussian blur. Drag and drop this effect on this layer and change the blurriness to somewhere around 50% like so and change its blending mode to add like this, and this is how this effect will look. Alright, now we want to give it a depth, so let's create a shadow that will move with this light. Alright, select this text layer and press Ctrl D to make a duplicate and place it below the reflection map and turn on its visibility by clicking right over here. Now go into effect and preset window and search for fill effect. Drag and drop this effect on this layer and change the color to black and hit OK. Again go into effect and preset window and search for CC radial blur. Drag and drop this effect right here and change the type to fading zoom and change the amount to 50% and zoom out a little bit, and here we have this point like so and hold shift on your keyboard and place it right over here a little bit more, and you can see that shadow is created right here, this one. Alright, so that's a little bit intense. Let's reduce by holding shift and drag it down like so and fit to this canvas, and go at the very beginning of your animation and set this point right here, same as the direction of that light, and add a keyframe on this center and go at 4 seconds and move it right over here by holding shift on your keyboard like this. Now let's animate our scene. Go at 1 second and 15 frame and convert all the layers into 3D by clicking on this 3D icon. Right click over here new and create a new camera. Again right click over here, new, and take a new null layer and move its anchor point into the center of the layer. Simply hold Ctrl on your keyboard and double on the span behind tool, so the anchor point will be moved in the center, and align this null layer into the center as well, and make this null layer 3D as well. And select this camera and click on this pick whip and make the null layer parent of the camera. Now select this null layer and press P on your keyboard to reveal the position property. But before that we have to make an adjustment. Simply select the BG layer and press P to reveal the position prop and increase its position to somewhere around 2000, like so. And now press Shift plus S on your keyboard to reveal the scale property and scale it up somewhere around here. Alright, now make sure you are at 1 second and 15 frame and add a keyframe on position, and go at the very beginning of your animation and change the position, Z position, to somewhere around here where our text is out of the screen, and select both the keyframes and hit F9 on your keyboard. You can and go into graph editor and make sure you are working on the speed graph, not the value graph, and select this point and drag it like so and go back. Alright, if your system is not that much heavier, so you can go over here and change the preview to half or maybe third, and we can RAM preview it in a faster way like this. Perfect. Now close its properties like so, and right click over here, create a new adjustment layer and rename it to shake, and press Ctrl D and rename this one light burst like this. Now select this light and go into effect and preset window and search for CC light burst 2.0 and drag and drop this effect on this burst layer, and go at the very beginning of your animation and add a keyframe on intensity and ray length. Then go at 20 frames right here, you can see that right over here, and set the intensity to 0% and set the ray to 0% as well. And now select this layer and press Ctrl U on your keyboard to reveal the keyframe properties, and select all the keyframes. Hit F9 on your keyboard to make them easy, and go into graph editor and select these 2 points and drag them like so. Perfect. And now select this adjustment layer and go over here and trim that right over here by holding the shift key on your keyboard. Now select this adjustment layer and trim that right over here as well. Now again select this light brush layer and go into effect and preset window and search for optics compensation, and drag and drop this effect right here, and click on this reverse lens and change the amount to somewhere around 70% like so, and go at the very beginning of your animation and add a keyframe on the field of view and go at 20 frames and change it to 0% like this. Now press U on your keyboard to reveal the keyframes. Select both the keyframes, hit F9 and go into graph editor and change the keyframes same as we did before, and go back and close its properties. Now select this shake layer and go into control, right click over here and go into expression controls and add the slider control. Now go into effect and preset window and search for transform effect and drag and drop this effect on this shake layer. Now hold Alt on your keyboard and click on this position stopwatch icon, and this new window will pop up. Simply type wiggle on your keyboard and hit enter, and in this point we have to type 9, and select this pick whip and set it to slider like this, and click anywhere you want and close its properties, and go at the very beginning of your animation and add a keyframe on the slider control and go at 10 frames by holding shift and page down key on your keyboard, and you will go on the 10 frames forward, and set the slider control to 50% and go at 20 frames and set it to 0%. Again, press U on your keyboard to reveal the keyframes. Select both the keyframes and hit F9 on your keyboard. And this is how our text animation will look like. Perfect. Now our animation is ready. Now let's find out how we can colorize our entire scene. First of all, select this reflection map and go into effect and preset window and search for tint effect. Drag and drop this effect on this reflection map and change its color to somewhere around this orange color. I'm going with this orange color. You can go with whatever color that you want. I'm gonna select this one and hit OK. Now select this tint effect and press Ctrl C on your keyboard and select this particle layer and paste it right over here. Now select this lens flare and paste that same tint effect by pressing Ctrl V on your keyboard and change its color to somewhere around this cyan kind of a color and hit OK. Perfect. And this is our entire scene looks like. Now go into render composition and go into project window and drag and drop this assemble composition in the render comp and right click over here, new, and create a new solid layer and rename it to film bar and hit OK. Now make sure this layer is selected and go into a rectangle and select the rectangle tool and double click right here and go over here and turn on the title action save and double click on this mask right over here and press Ctrl plus Alt on your keyboard and drag it like so. Resize equally from the bottom and the top and set it right over here. Now go over here and invert the mask and this border will be created. Alright, now again right click, new, and create a new solid layer and rename it to borders and go over here and hold and select the ellipse tool and double click on the ellipse tool and invert the mask and select this layer and press F on your keyboard to reveal the feather properties. Increase the feather like so and cross its properties. Now again right click over here, new, and take a new adjustment layer and rename it to CC for color correction and go into effect and preset window and search for curves effect and drag and drop this effect right over here and change the graph to somewhere like this. Again go into effect and preset window and search for sharpen effect. Drag and drop it right over here and set the sharpen amount to 7%. Again go into effect and preset window and search for noise effect and drag and drop this noise effect right over here and change the noise amount to 4% and uncheck use color noise and let's take a look how our final animation will look like. And this is how our final cinematic trailer animation will look like. So that's it for today guys. I hope you have learned something new in this tutorial, and if you really did, consider subscribing and also like this video and share it with your motion designer friends. And let me know what you want to learn further from me, and I will bring more amazing tutorials for all of you guys. And I will see you in my next tutorial. Till then, keep practicing, keep growing. Bye.